So audio has been released of Young Thug getting upset with Kendrick Lamar because he wouldn't give him a rap verse. Let's get into it.
Music history expert A.R. Shaw.
A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw. It's A.R. Shaw.
A.R. Shaw, author of Trap History, Atlantic Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music.
Welcome back to the channel. This is A.R. Shaw. I am the author of the book Trap History, Atlantic Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music, the first book that details the history of trap music and Atlantic culture. I want you guys to check this book out. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's definitely have dialogue on what we discussed today. All right, I'm gonna get right into it. So Atlanta's music industry, well, pretty much the rap industry, has been going through an interesting moment over the past few days. Mostly because audio has been leaked of conversations that Young Thug reportedly had during his time locked down over the RICO case, the YSL RICO case a few years back. Now they've released multiple audio, conversations with him. The first audio that was leaked was an interrogation involving a shooting that occurred years ago with Lil Wayne's tour bus. They leaked that interrogation. They've released conversations that he's had with 21 Savage. They've released conversations that he's had with Mariah the Scientist, who is his girlfriend. And they've released conversations that he's had with his manager and team in terms of pretty much business deals and how they were trying to move while he was in jail awaiting trial. So I'm not going to go into the details of who rats and the street codes and things of that nature. I'm not going to really focus on that on this video per se. Now I'm gonna approach it later on, but I definitely want to kind of focus on what dropped today in terms of a conversation that Young Thug was having today with a business associate, and they were discussing having Kendrick Lamar on his album that was going to be released while he was incarcerated. So Young Thug, a few years back, Young Thug released the album Business is Business while he was, awaiting trial for this YSL case. Now, in this conversation, this exchange with his business partner, they're talking about getting a verse from Kendrick Lamar, and I'm gonna play this clip for you guys, and then we're gonna come right back.
With the racks, with Kendrick, future grocery bag. Second?
I hope he do it.
So do I. I mean, well, even if you don't get...
He don't take no money, do he?
No. He wouldn't do that. But think about it. He does so few verses. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not just doing verses. Like,
right.
The only other person that gets a Kendrick versus Baby King, and that's just like his cousin or his nephew or something.
Right. He getting all the damn verses to this nigga, man. What the hell you doing, crazy? All that fake. I ain't getting no rapper songs. I don't be liking no type nigga like that.
Why?
You need to get too big. I don't want to do no feature. Why? Why you don't want to do no feature? Why when you want to do a feature for a superstar?
All right, so as you can hear, it was kind of a weird conversation because on one hand, it's like Thug, he wants Kendrick to get on this song With the Racks, which featured Travis Scott, 21 Savage, and Yet Gotti. You can hear Thug at one point he's saying, I hope he gets on the song, and then his business partner is like, Kendrick basically doesn't charge for a verse, so he only does verses if he feels moved to do the verse, and he's not going to charge you. Like, he's not going to basically sell himself or get money just because another artist wants to work with him. He only moves with intention, which that's what it sounds like. Kendrick is only going to move when he wants to move, and if he feels like this, whatever this song is, aligns with what he's feeling. So Kendrick doesn't get on. So Thug goes on another tangent in terms of pretty much how he gets mad. So first, Thug, he wants Kendrick on the song, and then he kind of gets upset that Kendrick may not be on the song, because at this point it hasn't been declared that Kendrick would be on a song or he wouldn't be on a song. Thug's business partner is basically saying that we're trying to get Kendrick on this song. And Thug is going through the emotions of, okay, what happens if he doesn't get on a song? And then he kind of goes in on Kendrick, and he's like, he says he brings up Drake. Thug brings up Drake, and he says that Kendrick would never be big as Drake, and he alludes to Drake working with a lot of artists, and of course Drake has done a lot of work with Atlanta artists, during this time, and Kendrick doing Not Like Us, which occurred years later from this conversation. Kendrick kind of hints that Drake was using Atlanta for clout, and basically using Atlanta to try to make himself relevant. And we've seen Drake kind of align himself with different movements, align himself with different genres and different cities to kind of stay relevant. And like on one hand, it's good for young artists. Like a lot of artists, is what they call the Drake stimulus package, where you get this Drake verse and it kind of brings you notoriety. But for that notoriety, it's like it kind of helps Drake in a sense too. It kind of helps Drake to remain relevant, to kind of it adds to his credibility in a lot of ways. Another moment that was kind of interesting is that after Young Thug goes in on Kendrick for not possibly not doing this verse, he's like, he should do a song with Wham, which is Lil Baby. He should do a song with 21. He should do a song with Dirk and Moneybagg Yo. And saying that if Kendrick Lamar did a song with those artists, including Young Thug, that he would actually it would help his prestige. And he says that Young Thug isn't as big on the East Coast as he is on the West Coast, things of that nature. So it's an interesting conversation going back and forth. Another moment that kind of stuck out was Young Thug getting at Kendrick's his lack of posting on social media. He says that Kendrick Lamar posts like once every 5 or 6 years, and he kind of makes a joke about Kendrick Lamar not really being on social media like that. But it says a lot. It says a lot about Kendrick's character without Kendrick ever having to say a word. Now, first is like the fact that he's not gonna move unless he wants to move. Like it's no dollar amount that he's gonna take that says that he's gonna work with a person. He's only gonna work with a person if he feels connected in some type of way. So apparently there was no connection when they sent him the song for whatever reason, or we don't know if Kendrick was working on another project or not. But for whatever reason, Young Thug and Kendrick, they haven't worked together thus far. Now, Thug was wrong in the sense that that Kendrick doesn't work with people, and that he doesn't put people on. He has put people on, and he's worked with a few artists from Atlanta. Now, at this time, I'm sure if this audio took place while Young Thug was incarcerated during the YSL trial, then this probably is around 2022, 2023, maybe 2024, early 2024, and years before that, Kendrick, he worked with Rich the Kid, which they had the song Freezer, and that was pretty much a hit a few years back. And Kendrick has also worked with Future a lot, so that you can't say that Kendrick hasn't aligned himself with trap music and Atlanta culture. He's worked with Future, and Future and Kendrick, they did the Black Panthers soundtrack. I think the song was called King's Dead. It was King's Dead from the Black Panther soundtrack. And Kendrick also jumped on the Mask Off remix. And so they performed that song at an award show. So Kendrick has aligned himself with a few Atlanta artists and also Atlanta producers. He's done some work with Mike Will Made It. Kendrick and Mike Will Made It. They did a lot of work on the Damn album. So you can't say that Kendrick hasn't really worked with Atlanta artists, so he hasn't put anybody on. He's definitely done that. I think what it is that Kendrick, he's only going to move when he wants to move, and for whatever reason he wasn't compelled to move to get on this song. And so it's just this whole thing is interesting. This whole the whole dynamics of these audio conversations being leaked, and just to give everyone kind of a sense of how things are leaked in Georgia. You can't. There's what they call an open records request that you can make to get phone conversations, but usually prison phone calls are private unless there's something said on the line that could be detrimental to the public, or it could be used for a trial, things of that nature. Before you get on a phone, you know, every call, it says this call is being recorded. So you know that you're on a recorded line every time you speak on a jail phone. Like that's just, it says it right before you pick up that you're on a recorded line. And so you have to, you know, if you're in the streets, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, you got to really be thinking ahead, and you got to know that if you're talking on a recorded line, you shouldn't say things that may leak, or if you feel like you know it could be an issue if they leaked, you probably wouldn't want to say it. Now, a lot of people are saying that, you know, this could be the end of Atlanta culture, and that that Atlanta culture is going to take a hit because of all of these phone leaks and things of that nature. And I'm just like, all right, what kind of evidence, you know, is this coming? What kind of evidence do people have to say that Atlanta's rap culture is going to be ending, or that it's going down because of this? Now, it does take a hit. Now, it looks very bad because pretty much this generation of trap music artists, all of them are bunched into this situation. You know, you got Lil Babies in this situation, Gunna, 21 Savage, Young Thug, Migos, they're all in this situation in one way or the other. And these are pretty much the guys who carried the torch of trap music after T.I., Jeezy, and Gucci Mane. I put it in my book, Trap History, Atlanta Culture and the Global Impact of Trap Music, so definitely check this book out. But yeah, they you know, that generation carried trap music to another level. Gunna, I don't think I mentioned Gunna, but yeah, Gunna's a part of that era too. Now, like I say, Atlanta has done so much work in terms of hip hop and music that I don't think that one moment is gonna destroy a movement, right? I think no one person is bigger than the program in Atlanta, basically because of the infrastructure that was set already for the past few decades. Now, if we just look at what Atlanta has produced in 2024, that's taken off. You had amazing albums that's come out this year. You know, 2 Chainz and Larry June put out an amazing album. JID put out probably one of the best albums of the past 5 years. Metro Boomin, A Futuristic Summer, that was an album that was a dedication to a fun time in Atlanta that still resonates today. So Metro Boomin, he pretty much gave Atlanta a soundtrack of its past. And so, you know, we can't say we can't say that, you know, this one moment is gonna tear down a city. I don't think that Atlanta is gonna lose like that. And you know, it's just too many great artists that can still put out work. You got Outkast that's about to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you know, and so that's a major thing for a hip hop group to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's Atlanta. So Atlanta culture isn't going anywhere. Now, in terms of the street culture, in terms of trap culture, in terms of trap music, this next generation, they may wise up and say, look, it may not be profitable to rap about street life anymore. It may not be profitable to pretty much give people the details of what's happening in the streets and affiliate yourself with the streets in a way that you can't escape from it, right? And so I just think that it may be a shift where it's like, all right, it's all about, we're not getting away from storytelling, because I think in the essence of music, storytelling is really what drives music, is the essence of storytelling. And all storytelling doesn't necessarily have to be related and connected to the streets. And all of Atlanta culture isn't connected to the streets. And so I just think people need to kind of just slow down a little bit when they say that Atlanta culture is going to be over because of this moment. It's going to take a hit in terms of like that, you know, the street culture is going to take a hit, but I think music overall, I think Atlanta is just too big to fail. And yeah, it's just not going away anytime soon. So I want you guys to let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on the Young Thug audio leaks? What are your thoughts on what Young Thug said about Kendrick Lamar? What are your thoughts on Atlanta's culture? Is it going to move on? Is it dead? Let me know what you think. I am A.R. Shaw. I am the author of the book Trap History, Atlanta Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music. Definitely check this book out. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's definitely have dialogue on what we talked about today.